going, flowing, we're knowing, and we're showing that we're knowing. Where are we going? Hey, internet. Oh, hi. This week, Microsoft absolutely hates the number 9 and is skipping straight from 8 to 10. If they really want to be seen as innovative, they should consider using the Roman numeral instead. Windows OS 10. Also, a food-tasting robot, the end of local blackout rules, and what the FBI thinks about encrypting phones. Also, and this is not a joke, there's going to be a Tetris movie. If humanity ever needed a line piece, it's right now. Damn it, L-Block, you're a loose cannon. You're never going to fit in there. I hope you've got your best Tetris one-liners ready, because my name's Justin Pott, and I'm in Boulder, Colorado. You're listening to Technophilia. Keep doing that. With me today from the UK, as always, is Mr. James Bruce. How's it going, James?
I cleared a line! Woo!
I can't believe this shit. They said it's going to be an epic sci-fi movie that's going to go way beyond the game that you know. And it better.
It's going to have to, really. I don't see what else it's going to do.
I'm just hoping for some epic action scene in the final where, like, a straight line drops right in the middle of a phone and all the aliens go away.
In fairness, Tron was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But was that a movie of a game or a game of a movie?
That was a sequel to an 80s movie, dude. And it sucked.
No, was the original... it didn't suck that much. Was it the original a game of a movie
Tron,
or a movie of a game?
I think it was a movie first, dude. I don't think that was based on a game.
Oh, right. Well, then, Tetris is fucked. There's no hope for it.
I mean, let's go through history, okay? Super Mario Bros. Terrible movie.
Whoa.
The director apparently is the guy...
Series.
What's up?
The TV series for Mario. That was pretty cool. I remember
really?
watching that. Yeah.
So that
you
you
hate
like,
the games,
but
the
games
that you
don't.
like that?
Yes! What the hell is wrong with that?
Everything.
There's nothing right about that, dude.
Also, speaking of Mario TV series, how about that right there?
Oh my
The
goodness.
Super
that
Mario
the
Brothers
new one?
super show.
Is that the
Mario
old one?
Spellbound.
That's the original?
Yeah, this is from like 1989.
That's it. That's awesome.
Yeah,
dude.
I found
Well,
that
we
randomly at Goodwill. Obviously, that DVD is not from 1989. That is a
No.
repressing because there was no such thing as DVD
Yeah,
in
no shit.
1989.
Yeah. Did you watch it?
No, I haven't
as
watched
terrible
it
as
yet.
I'm thinking
It was
is?
like
Okay.
$2, and I was like, whatever. It's Mario. I don't know.
Well, stay subscribed to make use of his YouTube channel for a video review later. But for now, we're going to move on to the
Oh wait, you didn't
technology
introduce
news.
me. I'm Dave LeClaire from Connecticut.
Oh yeah, sorry. We're in Connecticut. It's Dave LeClaire.
I don't really have a
You-
Tetris joke, although I would have thought that, that the direction to go with Tetris would have been like a Rocky style tale of a young e-sportsman trying to make his way in the professional Tetris scene. We'd get a montage of him lining up the pieces, and it would have been great.
I'd actually
could
watch
work.
the shit out of that. There's that movie, The King of Kong. You've seen that one.
Yeah,
right?
King of Kong is good.
I'd watch like a documentary about that, about like the world's greatest Tetris
Also, don't
player,
forget
but, like,
the Wizard with young Fred
that.
Savage trying to make his way to the video game championships with his like autistic little brother who's
you know
super
what?
good or whatever.
As terrible as that was, I would be
I
more
love that movie.
optimistic about that than I am about an epic sci-fi using Tetris as the basis, because I'm just not seeing.
The Wizard is
Yeah,
good.
okay.
The Wizard is good. Don't
Okay.
hate on the Wizard, man. It's a good movie.
Don't hate on the Wizard. Okay.
Good movie.
Well, let's move on to the technology news of the week. We can talk all about the Tetris movie a little later, or whatever the hell that means. Someone greenlit this. Blows my mind. Anyways, Microsoft has also made a decision this week. They've decided to skip straight from Windows 8 to Windows 8.1 to 10. Now, obviously, this isn't the most important announcement involved here, but it did make a April Fool's joke published in 2013 a reality. I don't know if you saw this, James.
I did.
But InfoWorld published an article April 1st, 2013, all about how Windows 9 is too good to release, so we're going to switch straight to 10. And it's more or less what Microsoft is saying here. This is too good for 9, we're going all the way to 10. And this operating system, Microsoft actually has a lot riding on it. They're going to converge the various versions of Windows they have now. From what I understand, James, there's no more Windows RT, there's no more Windows Phone. There is just Windows and Alice's Prophet? No. I might have gotten that a little confused. But there's just going to be Windows 9.
I don't buy
It's
that.
going to be Windows 10.
You
don't buy it?
I don't, because you already have that. You already have Metro apps which run on all of them. That's basically what this is going to be. Like, they're not
Yeah.
saying that they're going to bring the desktop to an Xbox, right? It's going to be
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Metro part, the Metro subset of Windows, which, as we know right now, is like this tiny little subsystem that no one cares about. And that'll be
Okay.
the cross-platform thing on phones and RT
mean-
and Xbox. And
No one cares about it, you say, but I think there are more Windows 8 style Metro apps out there than there are Windows Phone ones. Isn't that right? It's a much larger user base.
well, hang on. There's two versions of Windows Phone, right? I mean, the modern ones use the same Metro stuff. Like, I mean, what this is going to
No,
be
but
is when you, as a developer, when you make an app, it'll either be it automatically runs on every device. If you're making an
Yeah.
Metro app, obviously, or you'll be able to tick a box for what devices you want it to run on. But I thought that was already the case. That's what you can already do with Metro apps. So I really don't see the news here, apart from a rebranding.
Metro apps don't run on Windows Phone. It's a completely different setup right now.
So it's just Windows Phone that they're adding it to. Because
Well, didn't they
yeah.
say that the desktop is also going to be more front and center with Windows 10/9/whatever?
Well,
Yeah,
this
so
is
that-
by far the only change. So to give a
Yeah.
summary, just to kind of give you an overview here, guys. Windows 10 is going to come out. The start screen that you saw on the desktop, that's gone. It's been replaced with the start menu. The live tiles are going to exist, but they're going to be in the start menu. So when you start it up, and we've got some screenshots and an article you can click through here. But when you start it up, you're going to see the documents, pictures, all of that stuff to the left. And there's going to be the tiles kind of to the right, and you can arrange that however you like. And this is the big thing to me, search is back. So you can hit the Windows button, start typing, and find the app or document you're looking for. That's how I used Windows. It was like the good launcher. With 8, that was gone. So I'm glad that that's coming back. So it looks like it's going to be more focused on the desktop. The modern apps aren't going to run in full screen on your big 4000K resolution monitor anymore. They're going to run in Windows, which is going to be a lot better. And honestly, if you're trying to design an app that can function on a tiny little phone, forcing it to run in full screen on a giant monitor probably wasn't a good idea either. So, you know what? As much crap as people give Microsoft, they are learning from users' feedback here. I wish they'd learned it before they released Windows 8, but I got it. Credit where credit is due. This looks pretty nice.
So can I play Dota on my phone now?
No.
That's unclear.
No, it's not unclear, because no one is going to put Dota as a Windows app. It's going to be... Most developers will still develop
Yes,
for
but
the
isn't
majority
Steam
of Windows
a
users,
Windows
which is
app?
the desktop. No, it's not a Windows Metro app. We're not saying every Windows app will run across all devices.
See, that's what I
Specific
wanted
Metro
last
app.
week
See,
when I was talking about
James,
this.
sometimes
That's what
I feel like
wanted.
your worldview is that everything should change immediately, right away, or it's just crap and stupid. And Microsoft has about 30 years of reverse compatibility that they're trying to maintain. And if they want those apps to run on a phone, I'm not sure how that works, but saying
It
we're going
doesn't.
to keep Metro up. If you design a Metro-type app, it'll run on the phone and Windows, one place and you're done. If you want to keep doing desktop software too, that's fine. But long-term, our focus is on this Metro platform. And if that doesn't work out, whatever, I'm sure we'll make it work. They're doing it in steps here. And
But what
yeah,
I'm saying is,
Apple...
the user experience for something that's designed to run across 15 different screen sizes sucks balls. As you'd know if you'd
Yeah.
had, say, an Android trying to run on a TV, like a little bloody phone app. It's terrible and it doesn't work. That's not good for a
phone
start.
apps-
And as a developer, who would choose to write for Metro? I don't think a lot of people would, just because they have access to what? That huge store of Windows Phone users?
I mean, you know, you're in one fell swoop giving the app to Windows desktop and phone users. So I think it's more of a thing to help the phone than anything else. I'll give you that. But if the phone platform grows, this could be a really good thing for the developers. It could certainly... I could see it as being good, especially if they encourage their developers in a way that Apple can't right now, because it's a smaller store. So maybe it's a better gamble to develop for that than other things. It might not necessarily be a waste of time. So Kashi's asking, do I need to upgrade? Well, good news, if you own a commercial version of Windows 8, it's free from what I understand. Is that right?
And if you use a non-commercial version, it's free anyway.
Well,
Yeah,
okay.
it's going to be a free
I'm not
upgrade, I
clear.
think.
It's free if you have Windows 8. I'm not clear about OEM, but if you bought Windows 8 in the store, I know you get a free upgrade.
What if you have
Oh, I
a
see.
phone of some sort, or is this going to be a new phone?
I don't. The specifics about the phone operating system just aren't out there yet.
I think if it
Not
runs
that
Windows
anybody has
Phone
the
8,
phone.
it'll run Windows Phone 10. Well, no, sorry,
so?
Windows 10. I mean, there's actually
Because-
very little difference between Vista 7, 8, and 10. They all run
but
on the same
devices that
underlying
run-
kernel.
Devices that run Windows Phone 7 could not upgrade to Windows Phone 8, so I don't know if that's necessarily true.
Yeah, because those were drastically different. But
Yeah.
but
I mean,
8 to
generally,
10
I
is
don't
not
really
gonna
care,
change.
but I want this one to. I want this to be good because
Yeah.
I get Apple puts out an upgrade for my Mac like every whatever, and I usually don't have to worry about whether or not that's good. So I just install it without question, and that's cool and fun. But I haven't got. I'm
for
still
the phone
on Windows
or
7.
the laptop. What are you saying?
Like I'm still on Windows
For a
7. I want
desktop,
a
yeah.
fun upgrade for my Windows. Like I want.
Well,
a
the
fun
good thing
Windows
is that
upgrade.
they've got rid of the Metro thing, and it'll just be a part of the start menu. So if that's what's holding you back, which is for me one reason, then
It's a desktop OS now.
Then it's
they're
fixed
going
that,
back
right?
to being. I mean, they have to know that most people were using it as a desktop OS. Most people weren't that interested in doing a lot of things in these full screen apps. I think having these apps still run, but having it do it in a windowed environment is a good move. Because
well, it's Windows.
that's the main advantage of a desktop is multitasking. And if you take that away,
Yeah, I mean,
it's
I
kind of
know
weird.
when Jess got her Windows 8 laptop, she had to go and seek out the special, the old desktop version of Skype because you can't run Skype while playing Dota, which means she couldn't talk to us. She's like, why can't I use Skype? And then I decided to look it up, how to use regular Skype on Windows 8, and you have to go...
Because it comes
with the
Metro
desktop, yeah,
version.
or the fake
Yeah,
one, the
yeah.
windowed, whatever you call it. And so, yeah, we had to go out
They've
and-
never given us a good name for this. We're not supposed to call it Metro because of a lawsuit, but they've never given us like a decent name for what these things are called.
Okay, so why do you
Full-screen
think
apps,
they're
I think,
actually
is what
jumping
they're
straight to 10, though? Because one theory is that it makes Windows 7 users sound like abnormally out of date. Like,
So 9 rhymes with fine and benign, and they just didn't want it to sound that way.
no, because if
it's
you're on
marketing.
Windows 7 and then they've got Windows 10, it's like,
It's
Jesus, I'm
marketing.
out
It
of date,
literally doesn't matter. They just did a survey, and someone found out that 10 sounds more modern. 9 sounds old-fashioned, like 1990.
I really thought they were going to call it
I have
Windows
no
1.
idea, dude. It doesn't matter.
I really thought they were
It
going to
does
call
matter.
it Windows 1 to go with the Xbox One type
Yeah.
of deal. But they don't
But
have
they
the
already
balls.
have a Windows 1, so they had to put a 0 on the end and make it a Windows 10.
I guess that's true.
Yeah, I mean, Apple consistently changed their number every 2 years for 2 decades. And then all of a sudden in 2001, they decided, you know what, we're going to be OS 10 for the next 15 years. Like, numbers don't matter. Numbers don't matter.
Hey guys, thanks to the magic
Think
of
about
the
it.
internet, my stepbrother just sent me a birthday present live in the middle of the show. He sent me a game on.
That's amazing.
sent
Did
me a
he
game
send you
on
an
Steam.
e-card? Oh.
No, he sent me a game on Steam. All of a sudden, I got a pop-up during the show. It says, my stepbrother's Steam name has sent you a gift, and he sent me Amnesia, A Machine for Pigs, which is a very appropriate game for someone with an October birthday because it is scary. Isn't that awesome?
Have you played Amnesia before?
The other one, yeah, the one before it, what's it called? A Dark Descent?
Never heard of it?
Well, yeah. Oh, by the way, everyone, I don't know if you knew this. It's Dave's birthday as we're recording.
Oh,
this.
yeah.
He's taking time on his birthday to be with us here today.
That's right, I
So,
didn't take my
thanks,
birthday
buddy.
off. I decided that the podcast is more important, and yet there's like no one in the chat room. All you lazy
Yeah, no
bastards.
one showed up today.
You knew it was
There's
my
no one here
birthday, and
today.
you
I
just
think
bailed
this is
on
the end
me.
of the live show.
I hate
It's
you.
a huge pain in the ass to set up for, and none of you guys are showing up, so I think we can stop with that.
I really, really hope that Windows 10 is good. That's my takeaway from this. I want it to be good,
Yeah.
and I want it to be awesome, and I want it to be awesome on a phone too. Maybe I'll finally switch and get a Windows phone. Who knows? You never anything's possible.
You know what? It is a
No, you
pain
won't.
in the ass, James. Say what you want, but it is a pain in the ass to buy a game for the desktop and mobile separately. There's no one trying to do anything about this. And if there's one store for your phone and your
No,
desktop,
no,
that could be
no.
pretty cool.
What kind
No,
of game
no,
are you
why
buying
not?
for your phone and for your desktop? What kind of game are you trying to run on a 3-inch screen and a 24-inch screen? What kind of game does that?
I mean, I'm not just talking about games here. I'm talking about software as well. But if you look at the Humble Bundle that's on this week, it's for PC and Android. There are games that fit this category, and I'm sure a lot of casual gamers would like to have the ability to play things that they buy on their phone, on their desktop as well, with a bigger screen.
Yeah, James, stupid face.
I just
So
think there's
basically,
demand
you
for
want
that.
to bring mobile apps to the desktop.
No, I want to bring desktop apps to the mobile.
That's not going to happen, Dave. Fuck off.
It can happen. You just have to believe.
Why are you saying what is and isn't going to happen?
You just have to
You're not
believe,
gonna bring
James.
desktop apps to the mobile. That's not going to happen.
Why not?
Why do you think it
why
is
not?
going to happen?
Why do you think it
They
isn't?
can't make a car that doesn't require a horse. That's just not, like what you're saying is a question of design. Someone can figure it out, and Microsoft is making a platform wherein it's possible.
Think about Steam. Big Picture could work on a phone. It's basically just big icons.
Metro
So then
works for simple apps. That's why it is what it is. It's Metro, right? And that's why you can make a simple app which will run across all devices. I'll give you that, but that isn't the same as taking a fully fledged desktop app and making it run on a phone. That is never going to happen.
But if enough people have the phone, then they'll design the desktop apps.
They'll design
that can
simple
scale.
apps, yes.
They'll design them to scale. So like Steam could be Steam, but it could also be Steam small, like how every website
I think
scales.
there is no reason you couldn't get a strategy game running on mobile that also runs on desktop. Maybe you run it at a lower resolution or something, and you have slightly different controls that work better with the touchscreen. But there's no reason people couldn't start creating games that work well on both platforms. Maybe a more advanced version for the desktop. Who knows? But my point is, right now, if you wanted to do that, you'd need to sell it for one price on the Mac App Store, one price on the Apple Store, one price on the Android Store, and another price for Windows. People are buying the same thing 3 times. This gives gamers the ability, if these games pop up, to have 2 screen games for one price. And that's awesome.
Developers won't do that. Why would developers try to cut their market in half like that? Why would they do that? They could make one game for the mobile, one game for the desktop, make profits off them both. Like you're not making a value proposition to the developers here. They have to make a more complex game which scales to different devices. That in itself is a fucking monumental task. And then you're saying, well, it's great for consumers because they only pay once. Well, that's shit for developers. Why would they do that?
They could sell more in-app
Windows
purchases.
is the biggest game in town for gaming. And if the phone... It could happen is all I'm saying. There's potential here. I know you love shooting things down, but there's potential here.
I'm being realistic.
We'll see what happens.
You're so negative, James. Have an optimistic view. One day I will be playing Dota on my phone.
So you think you're being realistic because you see the world as all negatives.
I do not see the world as all
Every time
negative.
you say something negative, you're like, I'm just being realistic because I think the world is terrible.
To be fair,
Alright,
he's
well, let's
probably
revisit-
right, though, because
course
there
I'm
is no
right.
incentive for developers. But I can choose to believe that they will make it incentive. I would pay a little more if it worked across all my platforms, so there's the incentive.
Yeah. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just dreaming, but I am thinking there are various apps that this could work well for. If it's just the idea that you pay once and it works everywhere is appealing, which is why Microsoft needs to figure out. I mean, this is what they're doing with Office, right? They offer a subscription, and now you have the right to use Office on your iPad instead of just selling a version of Office for the iPad. Because why do you want to buy Office again? You already have it. So I think you're going to see more and more like this. I think a lot of consumers are confused when they buy a game on their phone, why they have to buy it again on their desktop. And there's a lot of opportunity for synergy here that could make the market a friendlier place for consumers if Microsoft plays their cards right. They really could. Imagine if the guy selling phones on the floor could say, oh, do you have a bunch of games on Windows? You can take them all with you. And that could be a good selling point. That's all I'm saying. It could be a good proposition for Microsoft to incentivize the creation of such apps.
I see this succeeding with casual gaming across all devices. That's where it would succeed, but I don't.
So what
see
you
it
just
going
said is
beyond
literally,
that.
I see this succeeding with the vast majority of gamers.
Yeah, casual
is what you
gaming
just
is the
said.
big market now anyway. We're
Yeah.
the rejects
Yeah.
of the world.
Yeah.
We're the people who only like
No,
the
I've already
developers
said
who don't
you can
care
take
about
a
money
mobile
make
game.
games for.
And
Huh?
you can
Yeah.
put it on a desktop. Fine, do that, but you cannot take your fully fledged Dota and put it on a mobile. I don't think that will ever happen.
Bro, I'm gonna play. One day I'm playing Dota on my phone, and I don't care what you say. If I have to
All
hack
right,
that
good
shit
luck
on
with
there
that.
myself,
Technophilia will have been canceled for 15
yeah,
years.
that's
I'm just
fine.
gonna
That's
text
fine. But I'm
James,
gonna be playing Dota on my phone one day. I don't care.
Dude takes a flight to London for no reason
Dave.
and finds James's house. He's sitting in the backyard watching over his chickens. And all of a sudden, Dave LeClaire's just like, Dota on my phone, bitch! Just plays it
Well,
right
I
in
could
front
just
of
send him a picture or something.
Hey,
I'll
you'll
still-
be playing it on your smartwatch, Dave.
That's the real future. Fuck playing it on like a 5-inch
Yeah,
phone screen. I'm gonna play it on a 1-inch watch screen.
But
Right?
the smartwatch, because phones have basically become tablets, I predict that watches are basically going to become phones, so it's going to be on his wrist, just like...
Someone was trying to
Like
fund
Leela
one like
from
that on
Futurama.
Kickstarter. Actually,
I'd
there's
do
like
that.
a giant watch that takes up like from like your almost to your elbow.
It's going to be like Buzz Lightyear, where there's like a plastic case on your arm, and you just lift it up, and then you go... Yeah,
There you go.
it's going to be awesome.
Oh man, 30 minutes talking about Windows.
You know what else?
What the hell?
It's going to be awesome is when we all have solar panels on our roof. But you know who's freaking out about this in the United States is energy companies. And you know what? They're not totally wrong to freak out about this. So just as an update, in case you guys didn't know it, solar power is becoming cheaper and cheaper every year. We're getting better at making the panels. It's more affordable now to put a solar panel on your roof and cut back your energy bill, if not completely eliminate it, than ever before. Now, initially, a few years ago, the U.S. government started incentivizing people to do this, to put panels on their roof, and they passed laws that basically made it so that you could sell your energy back to the power company if you made too much than you need to use at market rates. That means at the rates that they sell it to other people for. More and more people, it looks like, are going to do this, and if 10% of the market does this, it could cut utility earnings as much as 41%, because now you aren't their customer, you're selling to them, but they still have to maintain the grid and the hookups to your house as though you were a paying customer. So if there's fewer paying customers, it could really be a bad time for utility companies. Now, you'd think that this would turn into the usual left-right split in terms of like left-wingers being like, yay, solar power! We want to screw the big companies, and right-wingers being like, no, this is bad. But what you're missing here is that having a solar panel on your roof is a pretty radical notion of independence. You're cutting off from the grid in a pretty fundamental way. So actually a lot of Tea Party types are fighting and being like, no, we need to have the right to put these things on our roof and sell them back. Not all, but some. So pretty interesting. It's getting out of the usual left-right fight paradigm here, and it's bringing up all sorts of questions. There's never been a point in history, James, where you could just have a power plant in your yard affordably, but solar panels kind of change that. You can make enough power to fuel your lifestyle, more or less. And the nice thing is, during peak hours, mostly the summer when it's hot and everyone uses their air conditioner, that's when you're making the most power. So this could be pretty big game changer for the U.S. grid, and I don't think it's ready for it. Are you ready over in the U.K.? Are you seeing panels more and more over there?
Not so much, because everything has a much higher cost here. It's a lot. It costs us so much more to implement anything here, and that we used to
Also,
have
it's
some
always
big
raining.
subsidies. The government used to pay a lot if you would feed it back into the grid, but they've actually had to get rid of that because people were taking it up, and it turns out it's costing a lot of money, right? So they've kind of removed the incentives now, and there's not, it's just expensive, and there's not that incentive there anymore, so it's not really worth it.
Well, but they're saying, experts are saying within 10 years, and it seems accurate based on how the prices are dropping, that even without the incentives, it's going to be worth it for people to do this if they can afford it.
It's getting to a
straight
tipping
up
point, really, but it's still a big and massive initial investment, and not everyone can afford that, obviously.
Oh, definitely.
I would if
it's
I
a
moved.
massive initial investment. If you moved, you think you'd do that?
I probably would, yeah. It depends where I go.
Yeah.
If I go to Wales, there's no sun there ever, so it wouldn't work. You kind of need sun for this to work, right? That's probably why we haven't got it in the UK yet, because it's never.
Well, that's what
gonna
I'm
work.
saying. It's always raining over there. But if you're living in Arizona, this is going to look like a pretty nice proposition, right? Maybe the same thing. I know here in Boulder, we get 300 days of sunlight a year in Boulder, Colorado. And I'm seeing, and it's also a pretty environmentally conscious town, so I'm seeing solar panels more and more. But what amazes me is how often I'm seeing solar panels just used for doing things that would have been too expensive just 5-10 years ago.
On street signs and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, like in the mountains, there's no way you could run a line to some of these street signs, so they just stick a solar panel on the top, and that's how the light goes off now. And it's you're seeing this more and more often, and I think it's going to keep scaling to the point where solar panels are on your home are just kind of a standard thing. But we have a private sector electric grid in this country. Companies like Excel, where I live, I don't know what your power company is, Dave. They own the infrastructure, and they are legally required to maintain that infrastructure and to give everyone access to it. And if an increasing number of people say, I've got my own solar panel, I'm just going to use your stuff when mine's broken and then sell stuff back to you the rest of the year, it's going to be pretty hard for them to make money without jacking the rates on everyone else.
I mean, you do have to
this
pay
leads
just
to a
like
death
an
spiral.
access fee, though, to even have it coming into your house.
Realistically, they will
They're
just jack
not
the
allowed
prices
to
up.
do that with current laws. But the problem is, if they then increase the prices on everyone else in order to make up the difference, there's going to be more reason for people to buy solar panels, and it could just lead to a whole
that's a
big cycle
win-win.
like that. From an environmental standpoint,
Yeah.
I totally agree with you, James.
I bet you I'm not
But these
allowed to
compa-
get solar panels because I live in a condo and they have strict rules. So I bet you I wouldn't be allowed to put them on
What
my
do you
roof.
mean you're not allowed? Oh, well,
Like-
it's not your roof.
Well, yeah,
I mean-
well, no, I own the roof, but I don't.
But you're part of a homeowner.
I don't own the
association,
land on which the roof is on, and yeah, the
Huh?
condo association has like when I got like a company sent me one of those smart doorknobs to review for a different website. I had to go file a request with the board to change my lock because
Whoa, what-
they're
wait,
like, oh, it has to be brass colored because it has to match the other.
Oh,
Yeah.
you guys and your freaking housing association.
It's so
They're the ones who
stupid,
mess
man.
up
It's a
with your front
fucking
gardens,
door
right?
lock. Who cares what it
It's
looks
terrible.
like?
Are you allowed to do like dry your clothes outside, or are you?
No,
not?
no, that's not. No.
That's terrible.
This is
I never-
But I'm
hilarious.
fine with that though because I don't. I wouldn't want to see. I don't want to see my neighbor's ugly ass clothes hanging.
Oh my god, you are
around
kidding
either.
me.
So
We're literally burning fossil fuels so that a little box can heat up your clothes to the point where it dries because you don't
So
want to see your
stupid.
Hey, it
laundry
also
on a
spins
line
them.
outside. No, sorry.
I bet
it
you aren't
also
allowed
spins
chickens
them.
either, are you?
I can have chickens in my house, not outside. I don't have a yard, so where would I put the chickens?
Wait, I thought a condominium was like an apartment.
I mean, it basically is, except there's nothing on top of me, or everything is just they're on my sides.
So I can get them not allowing you to mess with the roof because it's not your roof.
Yeah.
It's like everyone's roof, right?
Yeah, but there is a section of
Changing
roof
a
that is
doorknob?
only over
Seriously?
my unit. You know.
And if it breaks, you have to pay to fix it, I think.
Yeah, the doorknob thing was ridiculous, though. I was like, it's my front door. Shut up.
You should have just done it. What are they
A
gonna
lot of
do?
Americans will put up with crap from homeowners associations that they would get really upset about if the government was doing it. But it's this private company, so they're like, okay, whatever.
Not to mention the
That's
fact
not
that I have to
overreach
pay them
at all.
$300
Yeah.
a month just to live here.
Really?
Yeah, but that's for
What?
Pretty high, dude.
that's for the pool and for them to mow the grass and plow and stuff. You know.
Okay, shut up.
They
You
do
have a
maintenance.
pool. I don't.
But that's
I've
a
not
pretty good
used it in
percentage
2
of
years
my
living here.
rent, dude.
I don't do public pools, so I have not used it in 2 years of living here.
Wait,
What
public
do you
pools
mean
are-
you don't do public pools?
The concept of swimming in a pool that random disgusting other human beings have swam in is just revolting to me. I
But
have
you're
no
paying them
interest in that.
$300 to clean it, dude.
No,
It's not
as far as I'm
washing
concerned, I'm
something.
paying them to mow my grass, the grass, and clean my
Yeah, it's not even
driveway.
your
of snow.
grass.
So, did you ever own a pool?
Yeah, that's my pool. It was my
You don't own
family's.
that one, but you don't swim in it because it's public. Did your parents have a pool or something?
Yeah, my
Like,
parents
when-
had a pool.
But you'd swim in that.
Yeah, because I knew the people who were swimming in it.
What if the neighbor kids swam in it or something?
I mean,
Would
at
you
least I
stop?
knew
Like-
them.
like,
They weren't just like random assholes. Like I knew them. If they were coming
what do
over,
you think these random people are doing in the pool?
I don't know.
that
That's
your
why I
mom
don't
isn't?
want to go in it.
Okay.
Okay,
They're
so-
dirty.
I mean, we have no
Right
pools in the
along.
UK, but I would easily take that with no housing associations any day.
I mean, I will go in a public pool. I just prefer to avoid it if given the option,
Okay.
and I have the option
Okay.
because I live here. So, anyway, that's a deep dive down Dave's psyche.
Yeah, whatever.
That's hilarious.
I'm telling you, I'm not going to live anywhere where they don't let me dry my clothes outside. I think that's ridiculous.
I've never once dried
we-
my clothes outside, and I have no desire to dry my clothes outside.
We have a clothes
hell
line
is wrong
just
with you,
going
man?
over the roof of our
Dude,
apartment.
I don't
and
want
we dry it
bugs
inside.
flying on my clean clothes.
Hey,
You're-
by the way, they don't do that.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah,
your bugs
they're not
don't.
interested
I got a
in it.
fly in my room right now, and he keeps trying to fly onto me, and he would do it on my clothes if I gave him the chance.
And then what would happen?
Wow.
And then
Wow.
I'd have fly juice on my clean clothes.
Seriously,
Oh, no.
clothes dried in a dryer suck so much.
No, they come out nice and warm, man. You put them on, you're like, yeah. If you get
No,
them
they
right when
come out wet and warm. Like they've
Well,
never
maybe
been
you're not
dried
using your
properly.
dryer right. Maybe you got a shitty dryer. I have a very nice new
We're
dryer.
going to put this onto a record, this podcast, and play it back 2,000 years from now when humanity's just been wrecked by all the damage that our generation did to the climate, and they're going to be like, holy shit, yeah, wow, this was the problem right here. That's amazing. It's incredible that they just thought that. So you know how we look back 300 years and we're like, I can't believe those assholes thought slavery was okay. That's going to be what this conversation sounds like. They're just going to be like, wow, that's terrible. They had machines that used electricity to just dry clothes when they could put it outside. That's insane.
I have a
That's
hard time
insanity.
believing that in 2,000 years people are going to be hanging their clothes outside. I'm sure we will come up with fusion by that point, and they'll just have the energy to run their drying machines that dry it instantly.
Well, we'll all be dead by then, but anyway.
Well,
Whatever. 50 years, let's say, when everything collapses because we run out of
Yeah,
oil.
exactly.
Anyways, cheery futuristic predictions here. Moving right along, Bendgate. Oh, wait, I missed one. Moving right along from pools to robots. Okay, so the Thai government has gone a little off the rails lately. We talked about a video game that they banned there recently. Dave, you remember that?
no.
Yeah, it was
Whatever.
Tropico.
What was it?
Tropico?
Stormco?
Tropico 5. They
Oh,
banned that.
Tropico.
Tropico
yeah,
5.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's about like a tyrannous government or something.
Yeah.
And they've also talked about the prime minister, I guess, is going to start rewriting soap operas so that they uphold society more rightly. Like he said, if they don't do it, I'm literally going to start sending in scripts. So this is happening all around. And now apparently the same prime minister is infuriated when he travels to New York City and gets Thai food and it doesn't taste like Thai food. So they are creating a robot that will taste Thai food and tell you whether or not this is good Thai food. This is incredibly important for the Thai people to be figuring out right now, apparently. And yeah, incredible innovation. I could see this changing the world forever, right, James?
It's so stupid.
I
Who
don't
cares
like
if
Thai
it's
food.
accurate or not? I mean, fusion is like a thing, right?
Yeah.
Who are they to dictate what Thai food is? Otherwise, we'd never have an Indian... What is the curry we invented?
You know who they are? They're the Thais.
Yeah, but we invented a curry in England. It's not like the Indians
Yeah.
come over and say, "Oh, what? That's not an authentic curry." What did we
No,
invent?
they do.
What was
They
it?
do.
I
No,
forget.
seriously. I was at... my wife was at an academic conference recently, and we have a lot of really weird, wonderful microbrews that make all kinds of different variations on beer, and it's delicious, and I love it. And there was a German guy at this conference tasting the beer and was like, this is terrible. I can't believe it's legal for you to call this beer. We know what beer is in Germany. This shouldn't be called beer. This should be called, like, flavored candy or something. Like, he was mad. And no, every culture does this. Every culture, I think, gets mad to a certain extent. And I go over to where you guys are, and I see the food that's passing as a burrito, and I'm like, you don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing over there, buddy. You don't. So, every culture does this. The thing...
I do that with pizza because I live close to New York,
Yeah.
so I'm a pizza snob.
I know. You probably go to Italy and you're like, this is bullshit. You guys don't know what you're doing.
I pretty much anywhere I've ever been. The worst is California, man. Those people have absolutely no concept of what pizza is.
You don't like avocado on a pizza?
Not
Dave?
it's even if you just get like a plain cheese pizza, just it's
Really?
just trash. Like it's just pure crap.
Okay. See, everyone does this. The Thais are just making a robot to go travel the world and verify
I want a
it.
pizza
So
robot. No, wait. What if someone just gave me a job as the pizza robot and I just go around and I just try pizzas and I'm like, this is good. This
Yeah.
sucks. This is good.
I like how they made a robot. They could have just like nominated, you are the official Thai food critic. Travel the world and find the real Thai food. No, they wanted to be scientific about this. They wanted to be precise.
Now the food
You
critics
can't
of
be
the
trusted.
world, we talk about how like
Yeah.
they were losing jobs
Yeah.
to robots. I mean,
Yeah. Well, food critics, you're
it's
screwed.
screwed. I mean,
Sorry.
the robot you can't
Yeah.
write an article about the food yet, but he can
Yeah,
at least
yeah.
taste it and be like, good, bad, and that's the article.
Not good Thai food. Terrible.
It's time to find a new job, food critics.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry. The robots are coming for all of us. So yeah, there we go. Food tasting robots. Let me know what kind of food tasting robot you'd like. Kashi in the chat room is saying there's no such thing as Indian food. There is North Indian food, South Indian food. You're right. There's regional variations in India. And excuse me, there's regional variations everywhere. We just usually don't see restaurants that point this out.
A few weeks,
Definitely.
James, your article? A few weeks?
Yeah, I mean, I still need to write it up, and there's a couple of cosmetic changes to do still. I may have to add another Arduino in to do the... Shall I talk about this?
What are you? I don't know. The cloud behind your head.
Yeah, so like
Yeah, go
a
for it.
couple of months ago,
so.
Dave P introduced me to this like $3,000 lightning lamp. It was like some art project, right? That I thought would make a great DIY piece, so he thought. And I finished most of the programming for it yesterday, and I implemented this pretty awesome sound reactive mode, which has been running the whole time.
I haven't heard it.
No, it's sound reactive, so it reacts to a voice. Basically, it's designed so like I can put
those of you who are listening to the audio version, behind James's head right now, it looks like a cloud. It's just a giant ball. It's cotton, is it?
It's actually some kind. Yeah, it's basically pillow stuffing.
It looks like a puffy cloud, but it's got little areas lighting up, and it looks like a lightning storm. It's awesome. It's pretty cool. So you made it yourself for how much?
It's less than $100 in total. Assuming you can grab an old pillow and stuff. I mean,
that's amazing. So less than $100.
That's including the
and,
Arduinos.
We're gonna have.
Yes, although I might have to add another Arduino to add remote control stuff though, because it's a little bit complicated. There.
Which would add another. How much?
We will have
to the cost
step-by-step directions at makeuseof.com, so you can make one of these yourself.
So look, I am so proud.
Subscribe if you haven't.
Of my lightning programming, right? Because if you notice, it's actually really bloody random. So every time it hears something, it triggers one of 3 different kinds of lightning. I programmed 3 different kinds. Right? The first is like a full-on flash where everything turns on. The second is like a rolling lightning kind of thing where you'll see like LEDs all over the place going off. And the third is like a mix between the two where it's like 2 sections of it will come on and off. And when you randomize that, there's like I've used the random function a million times. It's insane. And with random delays, random activations, random number of times, it's really cool. And it's a very, I don't want to say realistic, it's just a very pleasing effect. If you put it on with a lightning, a thunderstorm track on the computer. It's very
It's a damn shame you guys don't have Halloween over there, because I imagine with this and a few other things, you can make a pretty epic setup.
Yeah, we can't. Yeah, that's so annoying. Like, no one does dress up and Halloween in the UK.
Yeah.
I'll probably
you
do
are
it.
becoming like America in one key way, though, because I saw that your prime minister wants everyone to learn inches and pints and all that in class. So that's pretty cool. That's some solidarity there.
We have actually had more trick-or-treaters in the last couple of years. It's really taking off, which is good.
Yeah.
I like that. That's cool.
That's cool.
It's a great way to get your kids poisoned, kidnapped, or murdered. So it's totally It's a great thing.
Oh, you're such an asshole.
That's rubbish. Oh, hey, I also
Halloween's awesome.
I can't show you it now because it's not plugged in through USB, and I've still got to do the remote control. But I also programmed a trippy acid cloud mode for parties and things. So
with color?
Yeah. So because they're all actually individually controllable RGB LEDs, you can actually change the color, right? So it's not just white, and it looks so trippy. It's awesome.
You and your friend are going to have a great party with that.
So what are you going to do with this once you're done with the article? Like, are you going to, like, hang this in your living room, or, like...
I'm probably going to put it in my kid's room.
That's a good idea. Your kid's
never going to sleep
again. It will either
well,
make him deathly afraid of lightning or completely tolerant of lightning.
No. I'm going to program it to also be a wake up and fall asleep, like, nightlight kind of thing, and a sunrise alarm clock to tell him when to wake up. And you can also do it for like notification lights. So if you get a Gmail, it'll flash red or whatever. There's so much you can do with it. I love these things. Like, check these out. Right, these are little RGB LEDs, and you get like 30 of them on a meter for $10 a meter. There's about
that's amazing.
2.5 meters of them on here, and they're so easy to interact with. Like, there's so much you can do with them. It's cool. So many more projects coming with these.
We got a lot of news yet. Let's kind of power through some here, okay, buddy?
All right.
Penis.
We're going to start with a hashtag Bendgate. Turns out it's kind of ridiculous. Consumer Report, who's been on Apple's ass about crap in the past a lot, is basically saying, no, this isn't true. They actually tested it, and it's not true that you can just bend this phone in your pocket.
It is bendier than some of the phones they tested, though. It's that's tied for the most bendy with the HTC One.
Yeah, but when you look at it, that's actually still a crapload of force that you're applying to your phone. Like, it's not a normal amount of force. Let's just establish
How
that
much
first.
force do you need to apply?
70 pounds.
Yeah.
70 pounds of force.
So it's insane, right? And this was only with 6 of the leading phones. If you tested a lot more, I mean, there would be a whole list of them, obviously.
Though comparatively, the iPhone 5, you needed 130 pounds of force. So the iPhone 5 was certainly much stronger, almost double.
Yeah, but it was much bigger. It was much smaller. I
Well,
think
no,
that's,
but that's
like
what's
more
surprising about this
leverage
as well.
equals more bendability, doesn't it?
No,
'cause the
actually,
iPhone
that's the
Plus-
weird thing.
Yeah, the iPhone Plus actually withstood a little more than the iPhone 6 small.
The
which I
bigger
was a bit
one is
surprised at.
20 extra pounds to bend it.
But they're both still
Interesting.
stronger than the HTC One, which, of course, there hasn't been a Bendgate about because no one cares, right?
No one owns
Yeah.
it. Got him.
It's just amazing
Good one,
how
Dave.
some people can hate a company so much that they will do so much to discredit it. Like,
Though,
this is why
I must
we can't
say,
have nice things.
I am
Yeah.
impressed by the fact that the Note 3, which is the biggest of the phones, basically a tablet, is
Yeah.
the least flexible. It's 150 pounds of force to bend that thing, and that's the biggest of all the phones.
But
That's
is it
because
made
it's
of
plastic. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
So it probably does bend, it just
Plastic's
bends
a lot
back, right?
sturdier.
yeah,
It would just snap at some point.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, plastic for bigger phones, I think, is just better, so far as I can tell, if you
Seems
want
to
to
be.
avoid this kind of bending.
This
But
won't
it's
be a
less-
problem next year. We'll have bendy phones anyway. It's
We're going to have scroll phones, you promise?
yeah, if you look at the
know
Note
what else
3,
we're
the
gonna
main
get?
thing that bends is the battery. If you look at the picture, like, the phone itself doesn't look that
Really?
bad, but the battery in the phone is, like,
Just
folded.
warped.
That's weird.
honestly, you don't want to be bending batteries. It's
I
probably
would
not the
imagine
best
that's
thing to
not
do.
smart. No, probably not a good idea. All right, that's go. There you go. Bendgate, obviously
so
overhyped.
We've got a question here from Vpul in the chat room about your cloud, James. Can you hang it up, or does it need to be on a base? Could you like hang it and have it act like a cloud?
It actually has a thing to hang from, and I've got a chain. I haven't got anywhere to hang it at the moment, but I don't want to
How
stick
cool
my
would it
hand
be
in
if
there
you
because
just-
it's kind of got live wires right now. I don't want to kill.
You should just
myself.
stick a USB flash drive in it and say that you're storing your files in the cloud. Oh, he's shooting now. I'm the worst.
Oh, that's awesome.
Why did I say that?
Obviously,
Why
gotta
did
be
I
done.
say that?
Got to be
Yeah.
done.
That was so creative. I can't believe you said that. It was the best thing ever.
Yeah, it's hangable.
Man.
It's going to be a problem of where to hang
You know
it.
what? I'm retiring from Technophilia. I'm done. That's the last thing I need to say on this
That
show.
was the best joke you
I
could ever
think-
make. You can't beat it now.
You can't
Yeah.
do any better.
It's all downhill from here, guys.
All right, we're done, guys.
Okay, Reddit wants to give 5 million in stock to users, and to do this, they're going to create a new cryptocurrency. James, what did I just say, and what does it mean? I have no idea.
So Reddit just had a $50 million investment from somewhere, whatever, and they negotiated that 10% of that investment would go right back to the users. And that much is true. That's going to happen. But what's not yet clear
Yeah.
is exactly how they're going to do it. And he hinted at using some form of cryptocurrency that would be given
Yeah.
to the most loyal or most active users or something. Not tied to karma,
So-
because we all know that can be cheated easily. So not tied to karma. but
There's a lot of ways this could become a PR nightmare, because like the most active user is probably someone on Gone Wild who's submitting them. So then there's that angle.
yeah, they
right?
don't know
Or it's
exactly
going
how
to
to
be
do that.
some jackass. Like they got to be pretty selective about who they give this money to, because you know there's going to be press.
But, I mean, since it's the community that basically makes the site what it is, like, this sounds
Yeah.
like a pretty cool thing to do. And the idea of using a cryptocurrency for it is what I find most interesting. Like, if they made something as having as many coins as, like, Dogecoin,
Yeah.
in that kind of abundance, then it could become the new tipping currency on Reddit. So you'd be tipping other Reddit users in shares of Reddit, which is kind
You
of
know
cool.
what? They'd be seeding a new currency. It has $5 million backing it right away.
Yeah.
And, this could be a solid plan for Reddit, actually. That's
One
kind of
upvote
fascinating.
for one Reddit coin. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Could be cool.
I mean, right now, they get users tipping by giving someone else Reddit gold, right? Which is kind
Or
of cool,
Dogecoin.
but it's or Dogecoin. But if there was an officially Reddit-sanctioned way to give someone money for saying something awesome, all of a sudden you kind of change the nature of the community. Could be, I don't know if it would be good or bad, but it would be interesting. And it could be a important step on Reddit's path to profitability. So, yeah, fascinating. Dave, how is this going to change your upvoting habits?
It will not change them in the slightest, because ain't no Reddit users getting my money. That's for damn sure.
Well, you know who does get a lot of your money? It's people who make video games, but also local sports teams. I guess not local. The Philadelphia
they're
Flyers,
like 5 hours away, but local enough.
Local-ish. So this probably has never applied to you. But for, I think, 30 years now, maybe more, it's been a rule on the books that if a stadium for a sports team isn't full and the game's being broadcast on local TV, the game gets blacked out. They just see a black screen when you turn to that channel until a certain amount of tickets are sold. Now, for a long time, people have argued that this is ridiculous and arbitrary and abuse of what they're doing. And apparently they've been deemed right, because the FCC has voted unanimously to get rid of this rule. Of course, I can't remember the last time I saw a sporting event on local TV. It just doesn't happen that often.
Yeah, and especially not hockey. I mean, like, football's on local TV all the time, because football's huge and stuff, but hockey is not generally on the...
It's on cable only.
Although ABC does put them, like, they do the Sunday game, I think. I think it's on...
Yeah, so I guess before, if you were in New York City and the game was in the garden that they were showing, it would be blacked out. You wouldn't be able to watch it on NBC. You'd have to go to watch the game. I think that... And that's gone now. And I think this is a good change. I've never really liked that rule.
So I assume you mean local stations covering local games. It's not like do local games broadcast other city stations or something?
So this only applied to over-the-air television. We're not talking about cable.
Right. But
okay, so it was a local station broadcasting a local game, but it could be a nationally broadcast game, I believe, and it would be blacked out locally if the building hadn't sold out. I think this is ridiculous, because who's going to turn on a game at 7, see that it's blacked out, and be like, well, I guess I should just go down to the stadium and catch the last period. Like no one's going to do that, because the game's already started at that point.
Not to mention the tickets are not... it's like you go down there and spend $10. You go down there, down there with your family and drop $300 for a family to go see a game at the last... Just on a whim. Like, that's not like... For most people, it's not an impulse buy to go to a professional sport game.
So I've never understood why this exists. Glad it's gone. I think we can leave it at that. There's really nothing else to say here. What I would like to see die, though, is NHL Game Center's blackout restrictions. They're ridiculous, and people are pirating specifically because they don't want cable, and there's room for the NHL to make that better.
Is the VLC thing going this year, do you know? The VLC NHL thing? You know what I'm talking about?
I can neither confirm nor deny that it did work for a preseason game on Monday.
Good.
Yeah.
Wait, isn't there such a thing as local cable stations? Can they still broadcast it? You said it was only over the air, right?
I don't think local cable stations have ever done blackouts, because that would kind of negate the reason that they bought the local contract in the first place. I think this was just the big network affiliates that did it.
I'm confused.
Basically, it was the FCC's rule, and the FCC doesn't have the power to tell cable stations what to do, just the over-the-air ones.
Do people actually watch that anymore?
Over the air? Yeah. Mostly on cable.
But they're still digital over the air, right?
They're digital over the air, yeah.
Right,
that's how I watch live TV,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I've had cable for so long, I don't remember anything else.
It's amazing, actually, if you use over the air and get the free TV, the picture looks so much better than cable, because it's all HD.
But
so
cable's HD. Never mind.
Not here, it isn't.
Oh.
Not for a lot of things, it isn't.
Depends on the channel.
And it's like 720 instead of full HD sometimes, too. It does depend on the channel.
Huh.
Anyways, moving right along.
So weird.
It turns out Apple has announced with their latest smartphone operating system that it's encrypted, and they don't know what the key is. They just don't. So if the FBI asks them to unlock your phone if you turn on encryption, they can't help. Turns out the FBI is not thrilled about this. But you know what? I think encryption is important for personal privacy, and if the FBI wants to force you to hand over your phone, you should have some recourse. It shouldn't just be a default thing. So I'm pretty happy about this.
Well, they only got themselves to blame anyway. I mean, if you abuse your power, then people are going to figure out ways to stop you. You could have just shut up about it and not been so knobby. And maybe we would have been happy with the status quo of you looking up on terrorists only.
It is interesting, because in previous eras, what would have happened is there would have been a legal ruling against this, right? And it would have gone through the courts, and eventually it would have been determined that the FBI is not allowed to do this. Now, instead of that, Apple is just taking it unto themselves to offer a technical solution that makes it impractical for them to simply seize people's phones, because they need to get that password in order to get in. And without it, they can't do anything. So, we've talked before about the government and the law trying to keep up with technology. I think this is an interesting example about it from a slightly different point of view. So, yeah, I mean, if there wasn't for this, there'd be some legal... There's already been a few rulings about cops at the local level not being able to just take your phone by default, right? Unless there's, like, a reason to do so. I mean, because your phone is pretty clearly private. Literally everything about your life is on there in a lot of cases. So
America not just make a rule that says cryptography is all banned? You have to have entirely open data.
So we've talked about this before, and I've made my stance on the Second Amendment about gun rights pretty clear in the past. I think that there needs to be a line defined somewhere in terms of who should and shouldn't have guns. But I would argue that the Second Amendment gives you a clear right to encrypt your data. And I would say
What's
that
the Second Amendment?
Encryption...
You can...
Correct me if I'm wrong here, Dave. I think it's the one that gives you the right to bear arms.
Got it.
First is speech,
and
second
think,
is guns. That's our priorities in
America.
America.
I think encryption... Yeah, that about sums it up. Those are the two freedoms we wanted to get right away.
There's
and then
human
there's
rights
another one.
in there. Nope.
That's like 7. I think is when they added
human
that,
rights.
Right?
You don't even have
this
that
is
in
like
your
one of the
constitution,
precursors
right?
to human rights as a concept, so I don't think you can give us too much crap about that, James.
Yeah, whatever.
There's human rights because of like a famous wife of a ex-president, Eleanor Roosevelt. You might have heard of her. Anyways, moving right along. I would argue that the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, gives you the right to encrypt your data. I think defending your liberty is much easier with encryption than it is with a gun. I think a gun, at this point, trying to overthrow the U.S. government is about as likely as a bow and arrow being used in the 1800s. Like, I just don't think it's going to help you that much. The U.S. government has friggin' robots that can shoot you from the sky from a height where you can't see them.
That's
like,
why
if the
they
US
haven't
government goes
repealed
fascist, if the U.S. government goes fascist, sorry, you're screwed. Your little guns aren't going to help. They got robots and nuclear weapons, and yeah, that's not going to help. But encryption legitimately can help you defend your liberty, and I would say we need to do more to say that it's perfectly legal for you to have encryption. That's your right, and it's an important way for you to defend your privacy, which is also a right, not directly defined in the Constitution, but enough precedent legally has come up where privacy is a right. Yeah. So I don't think that there's much the U.S. government can do in terms of banning encryption that won't be shot down by the courts eventually. That's my stance on that. Oh, what do you think, Dave?
This is not my area of expertise, so I have really nothing to add. This doesn't surprise me that they're not thrilled about it. That's pretty much all I have to say on that.
But there's not much they can do about it.
Yeah, I mean... People are going to want
to be fair, if they get a warrant, which is what police are supposed to do when they want to search something, they can legally make you say what the password is. That's fine.
I mean, whether you're doing illegal shit or not,
just grab your phone
whether you're
and
doing
search
illegal
it.
shit or not, people are just going to want to be private, and that's,
Yeah.
Doesn't automatically mean you're a criminal, though.
Yeah. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It does not mean you're a criminal. And there are lots of legitimate reasons, even though most of society seems to have rejected the notion of privacy at this point, and they post their social security number on Facebook every hour just to make sure everyone knows what
Wait, you didn't do that? Oh, man, I saw a post that said if you don't do it, that they'll come and take your dog away, and I mean, I don't have a dog.
No, man, it's the coolest viral trend. It's social securitying. It's the best. It's so cool. It's awesome. No, so a lot of people seem to have rejected privacy out of hand, but I think... I didn't want to talk about Ello, but I don't think Ello's the social...
I knew you were going to go there. I
don't think it's the social network of the future.
Of course
but I think the fact that people are pouring into this thing in droves says that there is pent-up demand for some kind of social network that takes privacy seriously. I don't think Ello is it. I just don't. But this shows that there is a broader cultural awareness coming that, you know what, it's kind of messed up that everything's advertising supported and that they need to track everything we do online to do it. Facebook released their new plan about how their ads are going to follow you all over the internet now. They have an ad network just like Google, right, James?
Who, Facebook, yeah. Well, they've been following
Facebook.
you for ages anyway with their like button.
Yeah, but now they have an ad network. They've been following what you do online. Now they can sell ads based on this information. They're launching a competitor to AdSense, basically. And they've got a lot of personal information they can do to leverage that. So you're going to see ads by Facebook on other sites now. And it could be a very profitable thing, but you know what? I think there's a lot of realization happening about the extent to which people are being tracked, and you're going to see pushback. And I think Ello's just a little opening beat in that. I don't think it's going to be the big revolutionary social network that changes it, but the fact that this many people want in says something that we should all be thinking about.
You know, I don't know much about Ello, but whenever I hear this name Ello, I think of that song by Rihanna where she's singing about an umbrella.
Ello.
Yeah. I just think every time someone says Ello, I think of that song.
Ello.
Hey. That's all I think about. So, and I hate.
I just think
I hate
of
that
a ridiculous
song. So I now hate Ello.
Accent.
So great. Fuck off, Ello. That's what I say to you.
It will do soon.
You can follow me.
Most of those sign-ups are spam users anyway.
/jhpod. Most of every site is spam users, jackass. That's not a valid counterpoint. There's
That's
a lot of
fair
people doing
point,
creative
but
things.
they aren't able to deal with it, so there's an awful lot of noise there. I don't see the point
Whereas
of it. I mean,
Twitter and Facebook are just completely free of noise.
well, no, they're noise that's produced by my idiot friends rather than from spammers. Let's be fair.
You don't have to follow the spammers. You don't.
Wait, what?
No one is forcing
But you
to
do
sign
when
up
you
for
get
an Ello account and
notifications
follow
from
the
them all
spammers.
the time. That's like,
you
spam
know.
user is following you, and it's like, yeah.
I haven't used it too much. I'm excited about someone committing to an ad-free service, and I'd like to see more ad-free stuff come up.
How can they
because
commit to that?
I hate. There's a lot of ways you can do it. We got to figure out something, dude. Advertising's a dead end for content creation on the internet. It's not viable long term.
Just do like Giant Bomb.
Really? Because it's been perfectly viable so far. I don't see what the problem is.
Revenue per page view is consistently going down as there's more and more competitors, and the value of ads keep lowering. I just don't think it's a long-term solution, and we've got to figure out something else.
Wait, that's not a problem with ads inherently. That's a problem with the fact that there's too many people producing shit now. I mean, there's no other system that's going to change that, right? Like,
maybe it'll sort itself out. I just, as a rule, prefer my media to not be advertising supported. It's why I listen to NPR instead of whatever the hell the local stations are, and it's why I try to support media organizations that don't have advertising. As a general rule, it's just advertising functions by polluting your mental consciousness and trying to convince you to buy shit you don't need. And it's the source of a lot of problems with contemporary society. And as someone committed to trying to live independently, James, I'm shocked you don't have a problem with advertising as a long-term revenue stream for the internet. I just think...
I don't see a viable alternative. That's the problem.
Well, yeah, no one ever sees a viable alternative until someone comes up with one.
Well, yeah, but they haven't, is the point. I mean, they've just...
Yeah. We're pretty early on here. I think there's a lot of potential for a different sort of future. We're seeing more and more people are willing to pay for stuff as the internet gets older. I mean...
Yeah, do you think their idea of charging for, charging for emoticons and stuff would pan out? I mean, I can't...
I think you probably only need 1 in 100 people to do it to fund something like a social network, because it's not like return on ads is crazy high. I think most sites... I thought I read somewhere that Facebook makes $10 per year per user on advertising, and I think it would be pretty easy to get to that. I'm making these numbers up. I don't actually know. But I do think that, yeah, it could work. I think enough people pay... So Dave, maybe I can bring in your expertise here, because you know a lot about pay-to-play apps, right?
Sure.
Free-to-play? And you don't need everyone who's playing the game to pay for stuff to make it commercially viable. You just need a certain percentage
the whales,
of them
man.
to do it.
The people who are willing to
and
spend
I think
are willing
there
to
are
keep spending.
plenty of whales out there. There are plenty of people out there who are going to pay $10 a month to get a slightly bigger profile picture because they're just that shallow. And if they're willing to subsidize me and give me an ad-free internet, I'm all for that plan. No, I think there are a number of different plans you could put forward here. I'm actually working a little bit, I haven't said this publicly yet, with Andrew Barron, the founder of Rocket Boom, on some kind of alternative journalism experiment. He's trying to figure out ways to create video content that's not supported by advertising. I don't know if it's going to work. I'm just thrilled to be working with someone who's trying.
Just look at Giant Bomb, man. That's what they do.
Yeah.
They charge for they show ads to the people who don't want to pay, and for the people who want to pay, they take the ads away and let you watch some videos that the regular people don't get to watch, and they seem to be doing quite well with it. So
so I'm not saying get rid of
possible.
ads, but I am saying we need more people putting more thought into how to have a future for content creation and for social networks that don't involve advertising. Because right now, Facebook's revenue scheme is to track everything I do on the internet and use that in order to convince me I should buy shit I don't need. And
but what if
I
it's
like
cool
that.
shit?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
but
not.
sometimes it is cool shit.
Well, maybe that's because you're blocking too much of them. Like, if you allowed these things into your life, you might find that actually they're advertising stuff you want.
If you allow advertising into your heart, you will find that advertising is the answer. It's like a Southern Baptist.
It could be
preacher.
life-changing, man. What if the
I'm
ads
serious.
they show
People
you...
complain. They run ad block and they complain about the stupid ads, and you're not going to see any other ads because you're not tracking anything. Like, the ad servers don't know anything about it.
No. It's not the individual ads I have a problem with. It's the collective societal sickness we have as a global culture because of advertising's purveyance. The cultural default is to spend more money in order to make your life better, whereas we should be focusing on relationships. We should be focusing on how to save money. We should be focusing more on security through frugality than we are through spending. I think advertising is a mental illness.
I don't disagree with anything you just said, but I don't bring all that down to advertising at all. I bring that down to capitalism, not advertising.
I think advertising corrupts capitalism. I think capitalism makes sense if people are being rational, and advertising... I mean, the study of economics is based on the assumption that people are rational, and advertising is an art wherein people try to make people behave irrationally.
Half a second of Justin was heard around the world.
Did I just get cut off?
Yes. The whole last thing you said was cut off. But it'll be in the recorded version, so you can leave us in suspense, and we'll find it then.
There we go. Yeah, listen to the recorded version.
Wait, actually, no, that's going to be weird, though, because then you're going to hear me and James talking over you, saying, where did he go? So I'm just going to cut that whole little bit. Let's see. Hold on. We are at 102.
Yeah, write that down. What I said is that the study of economics is based on the assumption that people behave rationally, and the art of advertising is convincing people to act against their rational best interest, using emotion to manipulate them. I think capitalism's a great system, and advertising corrupts it.
I neither agree nor disagree.
Did that get through?
Useful, I know.
Yeah, that was far too many long words for me to disagree with.
I'm not smart enough to understand what you said.
Exactly right. You win that by default, Justin. I hope you're proud.
Yay, I guess. I don't know.
You are the champion of champions.
Moving right along to the gaming news, the part of the show where Dave does.
Who the hell is Jave?
Wait, did we just skip a ton of stuff?
We cut like 5 stories. Weren't you looking at the outline, bro?
I lost the outline, but why are we cutting?
Because we've been going for like an hour already, and we still have a lot of shit to talk about.
Okay, my bad.
I wanted to get through this next story because Nintendo is putting a game out on iOS. Spoiler, it's a card game. Dave, why the hell? Whatever. What is this actually big news? I can't tell.
It's hard to tell if it's big news or not because the Pokemon side company of Nintendo kind of acts independently. So them putting out a Pokemon CCG onto the phone is not necessarily Nintendo saying we are embracing putting our games on the phone.
I did not know this, but apparently you can play the Pokemon card game on a table that Nintendo doesn't make.
Yes.
Like they already allow that.
Yes.
But moreover, there was already a desktop version for Mac and PC for the card game, right?
I don't know. I I have not
You know
paid
what?
attention to the Pokemon CCG since I was a very young child. I played Magic when I was young, and then briefly tried the Pokemon game. Me and my friends had a nice little racket where we would get packs. Then we would open the packs, take the rare out, replace it with a shitty rare, and resell those packs. That was a nice racket we had going for a while, and that was my only real attention to the Pokemon game. Then I went back to Magic, so I don't really know too much about it actually.
Also, I can't.
I just Googled it, and at Pokemon.com you can download a Mac client for their card game.
I can't believe you skipped the
Windows
story about PayPal accepting Bitcoin. Like, that is huge. Hugest story of the week.
Only for the weirdos who care about cryptocurrency.
Okay, let's not skip it. Let's back up
I
from
mean,
the
there's
gaming news,
not
I
a lot
guess.
to say about it, but it's still huge for Bitcoin, and it's not just Bitcoin, it's Dogecoin and Litecoin too. Which anywhere
So,
PayPal is
PayPal.
accepted, you could now accept cryptocurrencies. I mean, that's a...
Every time I've talked to someone about why they're excited about Bitcoin who's not a crazy libertarian ideologue, the main thing they say is it lets us bypass services like PayPal. Now, PayPal is accepting Bitcoin, so I'm just confused. But I do think it's good for the currency. I think it puts Bitcoin on a number of sites that never intended to take it, right? Because if
I think
PayPal
you have to
processes
opt in,
the
don't
Bitcoin...
you?
Do you have to opt in?
I'm not
But do you
sure
get
of the
paid
details.
in Bitcoin then? Or do you get paid...
Presumably that would be an
with,
option
your
somewhere.
currency of choice?
You can choose to auto change it, I'm guessing. I haven't looked into it, because...
So what I assumed, it makes no sense because you could just add a Bitcoin button to your website and be done. Like, that's not hard to do. What I'm assuming this means is that anyone that sells using PayPal can you can just buy that stuff using Bitcoin now, and PayPal will handle the processing the same way they do with foreign currencies. They just exchange it themselves. That's what I thought. Am I wrong?
So it goes through
This is why I
another
skipped
provider
this story,
called...
James, because I don't know.
It goes through another provider called GoCoin.
Okay.
Which is... Yeah, so it's not technically PayPal, but PayPal is partnering with GoCoin to put it in there.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if that means that you can keep the currency... Oh, no, you can. You can choose. So you can choose either, right? You can either choose to keep the coins, or you can instantly exchange it back to whatever it is you actually want. Which is very big. I just think this is very big news for cryptocurrencies as a whole, that they're now moving into the realms of actual acceptance and not just buying drugs on tour.
Well, now the biggest company that takes Bitcoin is PayPal and not the Magic the Gathering exchange. So that's good. That definitely helps from a
That is
legitimacy
good.
point of view. Yeah. So, yeah. Speaking of Magic the Gathering, Pokemon card games. Yeah, I just looked it up before James decided we should go back.
Damn
Pay
straight
attention
you
to the outline, dude. Anyways. There's a Mac and Windows version already. So it's not that revolutionary, I guess, for them to put an iOS version out. It's just kind of a logical next step. Can you play the card game on your Nintendo? I don't even... Is that a thing?
No, I don't think so. It's
So when are we going to see Mario on iOS?
Well, that's what I was saying
You're
before.
never going to see Mario on iOS unless there's a decent joystick.
Yeah, and that's what
The
I was
game's
saying before, is that
unplayable
the
without
Pokemon
buttons.
company functions kind of independently of the rest of Nintendo, so just because they decided to put out their thing on iOS doesn't mean that the rest of Nintendo and all of its other properties are going to follow suit, because Pokemon makes so much money that Nintendo just kind of lets the game freaks people just do whatever the hell you want. Just make us money, you know? Right now they're about the only thing making them money, so make us money, bros, and whatever it takes.
No, seriously though, have you ever played a platformer on a touchscreen and thought, "Wow, this is a really positive experience"?
There's some that are good. They're ones that were built.
I don't play casual games on a phone anyway.
There are some that were
Well then.
specifically built for platformers, like what's it called? Something with the brothers in the name. Oh man, I'm forgetting the name. It has brothers in the name though. Something brothers. I don't know. There's a platformer that was made I remember made specifically for iPhone that was good.
Yeah. So you could maybe do a Mario game on iPhone that
Super
wouldn't completely
Brothers
suck,
Sword
but
and
it'd have to-
Sorcery. That's the name of the game.
It would have to be a pretty different game. So I don't think we're there yet. You know what? The 3DS has been a success. It's been dragged down by the Wii U, but I think they're making money on the 3DS. I don't think that's...
Well, they're about to make a shit ton of money on Friday.
Yeah. Yeah, you kidding me?
They're about to turn
gonna
on
sell
a
a bunch
faucet
of,
of money real quick on Friday when that.
That's what Smash
comes out.
Brothers is at this point for Nintendo. Even in the GameCube era, when they were losing.
I mean,
money.
I had to go dig out in my crawl space and find my 3DS charger, and I have it sitting here charging next to me, getting ready for Friday. I haven't used my 3DS in like almost 2 years, but it's getting ready now. It's time.
You know what? Like, I'm not concerned about Nintendo's long-term profitability, because then next year they put out a Pokemon MMO for Wii U and they're set. They're gonna be fine.
That's never gonna happen. People have been wanting a Pokemon MMO since MMO. The first, like when MMOs first came out, people were like, "Imagine if they made a Pokemon version of this. That'd be great." And then WoW just put Pokemon in WoW, basically. So
that's true.
They have
That's
the pet
true.
battles
They've
and
basically
stuff now.
done that.
So you just they beat Nintendo to it. They waited like 8 years to do it, but.
I think you're going to see, if a Pokemon MMO ever comes out, like the average grade of middle school males in America just...
You're also going to see my productivity
plummet.
drop substantially because I'll be playing it.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Nintendo's got some cards up its sleeve yet.
Cards!
I
Get
don't know
it?
what
You
the
see
hell
what you did there?
Digital cards! Moving right along! There's no point going on with this, right? We gotta move on. The U.S. is charging hackers for stealing games from Microsoft, Epic Games, Valve, and get this, the U.S. military. Apparently, there was a company working on a game for the U.S. military, and they hacked that. So, good job, guys. Hacking the U.S. military, that's a smart move. That's always, good. Apparently, one guy was from Mississauga, Ontario, so, blame Canada. And there was someone else from New Jersey. And they're now going to go to jail because they stole a bunch of video games and leaked them before their release.
Good job, dummies.
So these were pretty famous leaks. Yeah. Don't hack the U.S. military for a video game. Just don't.
Apparently,
guys.
it said they seized $620,000 from them, the government. How do these dudes make $620,000 pirating video games?
I'm not clear on that. I was surprised by this too. Yeah. They must have been selling them.
Apparently, pirating video games is more lucrative than I thought. I've been doing it wrong all these years when I've been getting my Linux distributions.
No, the U.S. government is saying this was $100 million worth of intellectual property, and they only made $600,000. So actually, they probably could have done better. Is all I'm saying.
Well, they would have had to actually have made video games and sold them. Then.
Maybe they were selling them to like China to print onto DVDs or something. I don't know.
Maybe. So we already talked about this Tetris movie, so we don't have to talk about that again, right?
Yeah, I don't think we need to do that again. I think we can wrap this up. We can do the reader feedback. There's a long letter.
Wait, the one
here.
last thing I want to say that if you are thinking about skipping Shadow of Mordor because it is a licensed like Lord of the Rings game, do not. That game is fantastic, and it is the best game released so far this year by a good margin. So don't let the licensed
No. You can't get away with that. I went with Robert Wieserhand's recommendation and got Endless Legend, that 4X, which is basically Civ in space, which is what the next Civ in space is trying to be, right? Have you not?
And how is it?
It's freaking awesome. It's like Civ 5 on crack. If you thought that could get any worse in terms of time management, this is it. This is
so that's cool.
Destroying my life right now.
I'm gonna wait till the actual Civ in space, I think.
It's crazy. It's really in depth. There's like actual tactics to combat. Like you lay troops out on a board. It's got magic and high fantasy and space stuff. Each faction plays really differently, and there's like 8 different factions. There's minor quests. There's faction quests, and you have this like RPG system of upgrading your heroes, and you can design individual units. You upgrade them. And it's kind of overwhelming at first, you know.
I was convinced at first, and now I'm really bored. So, good job.
This game sounds like a very, very, very niche type of strategy game that is only going to appeal to the mega hardcore strategy fans. This is not your average, like, I like to boot up Civ and play a few turns kind of game.
Yeah. Okay.
But there's a lot to like about it.
Sounds like that's right up James's alley, though. Okay, so we got some pretty good feedback from someone here. I don't think we need to read it on the show. But I do want to just give a second to thank... What's his name? You didn't put it in
I forgot to put his name. Oh, man. I totally named him. I don't even think he put his real name in the comments. So I think it was just some fake name thing. Let me see. He said his name is listed as Chris.
Yeah.
Just Chris.
Okay. So thanks, Chris, for these notes. Gonna try to internalize them. You've convinced me to stop doing the show, so that's my response.
Basically, what
I don't
he
know about
didn't
everyone
like
else.
about the show was that he felt it was too long, and that we kind of trash on everything too much. We critique everything and not offer anything else.
I kind of started the show by saying I think smartphone owners are idiots for owning smartphones, and thereby insulting the vast majority of people who would potentially listen to something to this. So I kind of get his point. I get his point.
Yeah, but that's kind of the show is like a satirical look at the technology world.
Yeah.
So that's
Wait,
kind of
long? I mean, have you looked at Twit lately? It's like 3 hours.
Yeah,
in
but they're
video
like
form.
intelligent, and fun to listen to. I think that's the main difference there.
Well, he was
I
basically
think
saying
that's
he
a
likes to
spectrum,
do like a 45-minute something, like a single task. I mean, it basically comes down to he's looking for a different type of podcast than the podcast that we deliver, and that is fine. We're not going to change to suit the taste of one person, but there is...
And he did say, and I'm probably taking him out of context here, that I looked great, personally.
What? Where did that come
That
from?
felt good.
I don't think he said that.
I don't think he
He
said
said
that.
through the podcast up on my TV with Chromecast, and it looked great. That couldn't possibly be about either of you.
Oh,
Well,
so-
seeing as I'm the person who edits it together and makes it look great,
Yeah.
I'm going to take that compliment there.
Oh man, he should come back and look at my
Yeah,
cloud.
I think that's kind of vain of you. I'm pretty sure this is about my
I mean, I could
looks.
make you look ugly if I wanted to. I choose to make you look nice.
You're true.
I could
You
put like big
Well, thank you,
like
Dave.
poop all over your face if I wanted to. I have the technology.
Please don't do that. Anyways, Technophiliacs, we thank you so much for listening to all that. God knows not many people do. Please, if you want to hear more from us throughout the week, you can go to twitter.com/thetechnophilia or facebook.com/Technophilia podcast. You can follow me at JHPot. You can follow Dave at Sidox. Don't follow James on Twitter.
He
And
sucks.
yeah, we're going to end the show now. Thanks so much for listening. You're listening to Techno. You're listening to Techno. You're listening to Technophilia. Listening to Technophilia. Technophilia. You're listening. Technophilia. Doing that.
Well, I don't know who assigned that arbitrary rule that you can't drink in the morning, but I say bullshit.
Should we move on to the news then? Or you got something else? We'll see. Get off the internet and get to work.
I'm too perfect anyway. I got nothing to fix.
You're listening to Technophilia. Keep doing that. Technophilia.